Howdy, howdy, everyone. It is Tuesday. It's a snow day over here, although not really a whole lot of snow, just enough to be obnoxious. All right, going on to work. Good morning, Brand. All right. We're going to work on this today, and then we've got to get back to work on the driving school a little bit later on. So we'll work on this, and then we'll get into work on that too. Finish up all of those. It can't. We're hitting that point now where I am not as interested in the work because we've gotten past the fun part, and so now it's harder for me to do it because it's let's do a painterly blender. It's much more fun to do the discovery and exploration of stuff than it is to actually do the day-to-day, as you might imagine. And that's okay. I have gotten very good at the force myself to do stuff aspect of the world. And so I can do this easily. It just takes some time. And it's not any fun, and it's it's one of those, but I want to do the fun stuff. And well, we all want to do the fun stuff. So the trick that I usually do is find some aspect of it that will be fun. And we will home in on that, and then it will be really cool. But, I gotta spend a moment or two going, what's the fun thing to do here? Which isn't a big deal. You have to travel for work. Is this storm heading your way, or is it meandering in a different direction? Well, I know you like the snow. I like the snow too. I sit here and I watch the snow fall down. Then I freak out about my wife, who's driving now on 36, and worrying about whether she, of course, is going to get involved in an accident or something. So there's a little bit of a difference. I don't mind the snow at all myself. I like it just fine. I worry about my wife. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, just come along here. And the reason is because I really want to highlight this blade. Right? No, that's good. Then you don't have to travel in it, and we're good. Maybe not that big. Maybe not that small. Just right. Feel like somebody's joining me. Feel like Can's joining me. Feel like Can's still joining me. Can's next. Why is that so funny? It's like the stupidest thing ever that we do. I love it. It's awesome. It doesn't even make sense. Oh, well. So I think it's interesting the wrinkle you have discovered in this. I can't hear you.
Okay, what about now?
Now I can hear you. All right. Yeah, I think your wrinkle that you discovered is fascinating.
Oh, that from Clip?
If you want to, the Celsius one, where you brought it up in the Celsius one. It's an interesting wrinkle to our AI beeswax.
Well, that was them. Their update.
But you're gonna have to say it again because you got all like cut up.
that was them. That was actually what they released with their update. That was their patch notes.
Yeah,
It said
that's
it
what I mean.
might infringe on the copyright of others.
Yeah, but they're implying that
big
they're
oof
implying
moment.
that their AI stuff might infringe on the copyright of others. Yeah. Ooh, we're having problems with you this morning.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that with all the snow and everything.
Yeah. But what I was saying was you were saying that Celsius saying that their AI might infringe on copyright. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an
The
interesting
program
wrinkle
that
to this.
the program they're using as is, and it might infringe on the copyright of others.
Yeah. I find that fascinating. An intriguing twist to this whole discussion. It's a very intriguing twist. I really had a lot of fun though working on the AI art last night. That was fascinating to me. And I mean, all notwithstanding all of the kind of weird things that we're talking about it. Hey, you.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things to talk about with it because there's a lot of aspects to it that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like, there's all kinds of stuff. I just said, hey, you. If you want scritches, come up here. You know the rules. You can sit down there all day long and poke around and see what happens. Oh, Starburst looks good. Murder by Pirates is good. Yeah, like I said, come up here. If you want scritches, come up here. You know the rules. That's the rules. That's the rules. Them the rules. Right there. This is the rules. I know everybody else is saying you're crazy letting your cat jump up on top here, but it's all right. Sometimes this is the George show, and we need to have George scritches. It's just the way it goes. Oh, George scritches. Oh, George scritches. Oh, George scritches. Oh, yeah. What a cat. You're a cat. Yes, you didn't know you're a cat. Okay. Screen? No. Overlay? Maybe. What do you think? In your professional opinion as a cat, what do you think?
Needs more scritches.
You need more scritches, don't you? You need more scritches. Yeah, you do. You just need more scritches. You're whistling, you're purring so loud. I love the cat purr when they purr and they whistle. You're like, because they're purring so loud. Uh-oh, we have to reconfigure the warp core. Hang on, hang on, George. Got to reconfigure the warp core here. There we go. You're a floof. You're my floof, but you're a floof. A weird little cat. You're not so little anymore. You used to be little. Now you're Tom-sized, which is a pretty big cat. What I think is interesting is George has always had this Egyptian nose, the sort of the straight nose on the front of his face. More like a, as opposed to not having, he doesn't have much of a divot in his nose. He's got a little bump. And I remember seeing it when he was a little kitten and going, well, that's how I'm going to recognize George from now on, I mean, other than the fact that he's got AI invented his paws. So he's got like 1,000 fingers because his goober cat. But despite the fact that AI invented his paws, other than that, I could tell him by the shape of his nose. You're a weirdo. But it's funny, the rest of his face filled out, but the bump on his nose is still there. The bump on his nose ridge.
Huh.
So, I mean, like looking at kitten pictures of him, he still has that bump on the nose ridge, which makes him so uniquely George. Yeah, but definitely AI invented your paws. You totally identify with AI and all the polydactyl fingers that they put out there. I think at some point here in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to rotate my office a little bit, like rotate it 90 degrees this way, so that it's, because I like having the bookshelf behind me. It looks nice. I don't mind having the warp core is cool, but I think I'm going to move the warp core over to here and put the bookshelf behind me because it looks a little bit more studious.
Okay.
But it also, the way that this shelf is set up, the way I put the shelf in, it has a nice place where I can put my legs underneath it. The shelf goes further out than the strut that holds up the shelf. So it's kind of hard to explain, but my office is set up now. We went and there was a whole bunch of doors in the garage that were they were doors that were pulled out of, I get tired of it. My mom used to do this too. She used to just rearrange the furniture every like 6 months. But there was a bunch of these doors that were like closet doors and stuff like that people had pulled out of this house over the years and stuck in the garage. So I pulled them in, and James and Kevin and I, my buddies, and I put in struts and then bolted them to the wall. So there is now, like there's a standing bench all around the outside of the rim of this office. The problem is, sitting here, people keep sneaking up behind me to my right, and I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden my kid materializes right here, and it freaks me out. And so I'm thinking of turning it, which would be good because that would put the window to my left, which I liked before. It would be in the same spot as it was in the very beginning when I started doing this show, except that back then my desk was here. And we've since pulled out my desk and instead put in these permanent emplacements. But it would also allow me to have this area for putting my PC and all of that stuff. And I've been thinking about doing that. It gives a smaller footprint for typing, but it's hard to type this way. My hands are quite a ways away from the keyboard, so it's not as easy to do the typing. This isn't working like I want it to. As much as I like these starbursts, and I really do because they're messy and all kinds of really cool stuff, I think I'm actually going to use Clip's starbursts for this, because Clip actually has a material for it. I have to download it. Yeah, I mean, it's about time. We're probably going to have a morning where Kane will get on and I'll get on, and then I won't actually do any work. Instead, I'll reorganize everything.
So a typical night show.
Yeah, night show. Well, and there's other things. I've got this standing AC unit, which I want to make some kind of permanent location for it, so that I can start building it in as it lives a permanent life sort of thing. And I think the ideal location for it would be right under this desk against the wall over here. Then it would blow cold air this way, which would circulate around the office and cool the PC down first. Well, yeah, last night was just break. I just took a break. That's all.
Well, and it wasn't even a break. It was, okay, here's this new thing. How can we use it?
Yes.
It was playing with a tool to see if the tool is viable for what we do.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. There we go. Now you've figured it out.
Okay.
Yeah, last night's show was interesting and different.
I mean, yeah, it featured us giggling like school children.
We were awesome, though. I'm not going to complain about that. That was fun.
But, like, I actually was legitimately ripping apart the AI on my end and seeing if I could produce a comic panel, which I am using here in this page, actually right down here, this panel here, and seeing what the results are with using a hybrid of AI and my art.
Right. Well, and we're saying to use the AI art as backgrounds and stuff like that.
Or to even just help design the page.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're treating this head on. And part of it is you have to get used to the AI. So playing with it and somehow pulling up white for no apparent reason as you draw. How do I do that?
Right.
Playing with it and giggling at it and all this and seeing its limitations and seeing its strengths is just as important.
Yeah. So my buddy last night, Ken, and I were supposed to get together for Japanese practice, and he didn't make it. And I sent a text that said, "Hey, are we getting together tonight?" And he never responded. And so this morning he's being profusely apologetic, and I'm like, "It's okay, man. Literally, I sent the text. You didn't respond, so we watched Star Trek and Star Wars. There's literally no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
You put me out one text. That's it. That's all." And we watched the lovely little Studio Ghibli Star Wars last night. It was so cute. So apparently Studio Ghibli did a 3-minute short of Grogu and little soot spirits. And it's the most adorable freaking thing on the planet. Now I love that Grogu. The Ghibli version of Grogu is like the cutest thing on the planet. But it's effectively a Totoro thing. Like Grogu is trying to meditate like a good Jedi, and the soot spirits keep hitting him on the head. And so then he tries to walk away from the little soot spirits, and they keep following him. And then they become a little pillar, and they wiggle back and forth in such a Ghibli sort of way. And I mean, like there's no plot to it. It's just cute Grogu and cute little soot spirits, and it was just beautiful.
Yeah. You don't want to put in those kind of backgrounds all the time.
No, but they give me fascinating. I loved the AI generated backgrounds that just it created randomly are so cool, and I loved them.
Yeah, this is not like it starts to become a crutch after a while if you're not careful. But two, like how to describe it? Um it's too detailed. It's too much work to be able to do highly detailed panels all the time.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I'm going to do is take this concept and build a 3D building out of it. And then I can use it anytime I damn well want. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
any angle, and you know how it is with me. But first, I'm curious whether we can render this down in some kind of extracted line. because that actually looked kind of cool. And the extracted line function, like this, doesn't look bad at all. And if I were just to trace this would be good for a one-off panel.
Or even a page, like a setting shot.
This is the lab of Dr. Bob Snurgleblatt, who is the evil doctor who is trying to make cayenne into pizza.
Again, but it's only Wednesday.
Right? You'd think we'd know by now.
The pizza day only happens on Thursday. He's breaking the rules.
He's breaking the rules. What is he doing? Why is he doing this? Ah, it's so horrible. How hard would it be? It wouldn't be that hard, would it? I don't think it would be. I'm sure if I had rendered this at larger scale, it would have been a lot easier to deal with. Why am I doing this? I've got bigger fish to fry today. What is my problem?
I'm having a face out issue. I'm going to hop off and make some breakfast for myself, but I'm going to finish off this page today.
Yep.
So.
Right, Dr.
Anyways, I will talk to you.
Alex, her ability to start a nuclear war.
Let's start a war.
She finished the war. I think the funniest part is I created a character who is in the middle of a war, and yep, see you later, Kane. Enjoy your breakfast. I shall see you tonight, probably. Odds are good.
Yeah.
Good night. But I think it's interesting. I'll switch back to the main mode. Interesting that I did create a character who effectively put an end to a war. And then Star Trek put together a character that started a war. I find that interesting a lot. I like this one too. This is like somebody's capsule. I have a real love for 1960s 1960s proto design. You know what I mean? Like that futuristic 60s stuff that they do. Oh man, that stuff's good. That's the best stuff. So I am definitely all about this concept of the 1960s sort of worldview here, where it's got this 60s-esque capsule, and oh man, it's beautiful. It's super rich. This is something I could see. That's what I was looking for right there, because I wanted to bring this up, this color right there. This is definitely something that I could see running with. You know what I mean? Like running with this design. We got kind of weird sphere buildings in the background with strange lights on it, and then capsules where they're effectively looks like they were a crashed spacecraft, and now they've been turned into homes. I mean, because of the nature of the way that I do 3D modeling, I think we'd have to do something else. But all right, this did not go like I wanted it to. There is a tool, and I know there's a tool, and I can't remember where it is. There's a starburst explodey tool somewhere in here, and I've got to figure out where it is. It is a tool, and it's not a brush. Hatching. Ooh. Okay, what does this do? Does it make? It does. What happens if I make it big though? Like not that, like that. Oh man, look at that! Oh, God, I discovered a horrible thing. Hello, some user. Yes, we were working with Midjourney. I think we're back up to full power again now. So for the moment here, you guys got the message before on that one because and I don't know what's going on. And we're back to, so it is snowing here, which apparently streaming problems. It's just okay. 50%. Still having transmission problems. Okay. If you can hear me, hello to Dan, hello to Christopher, hello to some user, and forgive the internet for deciding to melt down. It's snowing. So clearly we have issues. Issues. Anyway, if you guys can hear me, and some user, I hope you can hear me. Oh, good. Well, now I can say, hello, Topher of the Chris variety. Because I haven't said that in probably a couple of years now. I'm starting to miss that. So, Brent hears me. Yes, that was really, really, really funny. So, last night, what some user is referring to as last night's stream. We've been using Midjourney, which is an AI art program, because it's a know thine enemy sort of thing. We know that AI is honing in on our jobs, so we kind of want to know what AI is thinking about. So I went on ahead and went on to Midjourney on Discord. And what you do with Midjourney is in the thread of wherever it is, you enter into one of the rooms in Discord, and you fire off a bot command with a prompt. So you say /imagine, and that fires off the bot, and then whatever you write after that is what it will generate. But it's not just me; it's whoever else is in that room. So there are constant, AI imaginings going on here, and somebody was really determined to try to get a hand coming out of the ocean. And AI seems to have a real problem with hands. It has a hard time figuring out how to deal with fingers. I don't know what the problem is, but that's a big tell of AI. So this person has been trying very hard to get fingers coming out, and the fingers are getting weirder and weirder, and they're getting little tips and little heads on them. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, well, that happened. Right? Right, exactly. Some users talking about using a waifu AI gives everything huge breasts because they're trained by AI, anime AI art. And so it's like the weirdest thing. So anyway, what some user is saying is I was trying to work in that thread by making space buildings. That's what I was working on. That's what I was trying to get it to do, was to give me space buildings. I love this. This stuff looks great. These are all AI generated. So it just threw pieces together to give buildings. And I love the look of these buildings. They're good random buildings. They'll be perfect for the background of my comic. They'll be great for me to build 3D models out of. I'll just model these guys and then we can have them in places, and that'll be awesome. But in between all of my prompts is this poor guy who is trying to get the AI to do a hand coming out of the ocean. And the AI was giving it 15 fingers, and then sometimes it only had one finger. Finger had a very distinguished, and it was adding rings. Oh, man. That was with the AI is like boobs. It was so funny. Oh, I just completely dropped off the planet. I'm gone. I'm still here. Okay, we're back. We're back. And we have the secret to the air shield. Yeah, but I agree with you, Christopher. It was like, that's exactly what was happening. It was so weird. Although for me, I was doing. Yeah, I could imagine. I could imagine the whole thing got scrambled. So it was just it was the AIs are having a problem with hands. To give you an idea, I'll show you some of the things that I did manage to get the AI to do. Other people had managed some phenomenal pieces. I love this piece. This is a phenomenal piece. Somebody else prompted this, but I loved it. So I snagged it for my cyberpunk game that someday I will run. But I was prompting it with this is a prompt that came from putting in Midjourney the idea of putting it in with Masamune Shiro, the artist of Ghost in the Shell. And this is what it came out from with Masamune Shiro's prompt. And I've got to admit, this is insanity. This is really pretty. And so I was like, wow. It's really interesting about how it does. Like, this was in the style of Gorillas. So, like the Gorillas albums and things like that. I'm going to have to switch pins because it's making it. That's kind of weird. But I mean, that's pretty cool too. I mean, just as character design. I would never use this as this in my comics, but I could totally see using this as a prompt. It did mess it up a little. I mean, let's look here. I mean, it's messing it up. Come on, work with me. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, the AI has a real problem with hands. I mean, at least she has the right number of hands, but oh my god, right number of fingers. But holy crap. That's one of the big tells for AI right now, is that and the eyes. It doesn't quite do the eyes right still sometimes. And noses. Look at that nose. Right? I mean, she seems to be relatively okay. Right? It's the 6-fingered man. Do not save. It's like, you changed this. Yeah, whatever. But some of them are absolutely gorgeous. Like, this is really nice, except her eyes are wonked. But the other one, he refined that and told it to redo it. And the eyes came out much clearer. That's somebody else's render. That wasn't mine. I just saw it and said, hey, that's cool. But like, I told it to do Star Trek, and that's what it came up with. Yeah, it looks like he has his hand in her pocket. It does. It totally does. Looks like he's got his hand in her pocket. But I told it to do Star Trek, and this isn't bad. You know, it still has some weird, like, how many fingers does she have over here? And what's the story with her eyes? But in general, it's not bad. I mean, like, it's not a bad rendition. It's just that you can clearly see, you know, and like I said, it does. It's got a lot of interesting stuff going for it. We even did some runs with black and white line art, and that one's not bad. I mean, you're thinking, I mean, the big thing that gets me is that this really does look like somebody hand drew it. And that's kind of amazing in my book. Because there's no human involved in this at all. I put in a prompt, I revised it and revised it and revised it because I was saying a fight. And so she looks like she's pretty mad and upset and stuff. And it does. It looks like a rough drawing. Maybe not even a rough drawing. And then I did my cat. I like the cat. This one's just wild. I just love the look of this. Just so cool. I don't even know what to think about this guy. He's just kick butt. Like nuclear robotic kitten. So it's a thing. And that's a lot of what's going on. And then some of these are just fantastic. Like that's fantastic by itself there. So some of this stuff was really interesting. Going through last night and kind of picking through and doing things. I got these phenomenal mecha, which have 72 fingers, but when it's a mecha, I guess that's okay. Yeah, interesting, right? And then, of course, what I was really trying to pull were cities, space cities. It did a great job on the space cities. I mean, these feel kind of like space cities. If I were to build these buildings, it really has a preference, though, for that dome prefab feel. But it looks great. Like I said, if I just build these buildings, all of this is kind of phallic in its own way. It's a thing. Anyway, yeah, there we go. So that was our journey. Some of these were wild. Like, look at that. That's just wild. And the problem is that the copyrights are coming through on it. That's kind of interesting. Although she does have like 16 boobs here. So there's that. That's a thing. Anyway, fascinating to me traveling down the AI path. That was a fascinating journey. And we were giggling because some of it was just so ridiculously silly. And it's interesting. Oh, I'll bet you I know one of the reasons why we're having problems is I'm still running my mid journey. Somebody's doing creepy crap. I hate the creepy crap. So what I will do is right? Well, yeah, but what you didn't see were the little boobs that were in the middle there. It was like all these little boobs in the center. It was like, wow, people. I'm going to kill off Discord and let it settle in. I'm going to kill off Steam because that'll help a lot. I think we've got a lot of problems going on with various other programs running, which shouldn't be running. Microsoft Teams is still running, which doesn't help me. So we're using a lot of bandwidth. That's probably part of the reason why we're having problems this morning. Excuse me. All right. Back to work for us. And as much fun as working on this picture would be, we're not working on that picture. We're working on this picture. And we're trying to figure out, because there is a way and a method. Oh, I've got Liquify. That's right. That's new. The Liquify tool. I don't even know what to do with the Liquify tool. I think I just destroy stuff. There is a way. I can make sparkles. Can I make sparkles? Oh, I can. Look at the sparkles. All right. There's a way. Oh, that is pretty kick butt. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty kick butt. Are they really? So the captions, so that you're getting closed captions along the bottom? That's funny. And they're ahead. That makes it even funnier. All right. We got glitter. Soft circles. Oh, these are soft circles. Look at that. look kind of like balloons. Dappled light. That goes the other direction. Yeah, some user, I don't know. I mean, I see nothing as a waste as long as you're going to use it. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I'm actually kind of eyeballing new GPUs right now because the prices have gone down. People are no longer using them as much. Well, thank you, Dan. You should make sparkles too. I'm just saying, sparkles are the best. What do we got? Background. Oh, trees. Oh, trees. I can make trees, guys. I can make books. Books? Books. Oh, that's funny. Wait. We gotta make bigger books. Books. Oh, okay, that's just wrong. Buildings. Wow. It's actually kind of useful. Right. Well, that's the first thing I do is go back in and fix the hands, but the hands and the eyes. How do you know something's not right, Ford? Is it because the buildings are going up and down and the ocean is staying perfectly stable? Okay, that's funny. Rubble. Oh, rubble? Rubble. That's just bricks. That's kind of cool. Cracks. Oh, that actually looks pretty wicked too. All right. I have discovered the automatic tools here. They're not helping much. Oh. That's simple frill. Give him simple frill. Frilly. Okay, that's funny. The gorilla style was very nifty. The thing that's very interesting, though, is that the AI was poaching styles from somewhere, and I don't know where it was poaching the styles from. Because the gorilla style worked as long as your prompt was Star Wars. When I swapped out Star Wars and put in Star Trek, I got a different style. And all I swapped was Star Wars for Star Trek. So it's poaching styles from somewhere. That, well, I agree with you, some user. I agree that it is somewhat concerning, and it does kind of make me wonder. It also, though, is making me feel a little bit better. I think that all of our poking around with AI in the last couple of days, one of the things that Can and I have both come up with is that it's not as big of a threat at the moment because A, it's limited in what it can pull from. Like when I had it do things in Masumune Shiro's style, I could definitely see it was pulling elements of the covers of various Masamune Shiro books. So it was pretty identifiable, pretty quick. And the cat didn't match. So I'll show you what I was talking about here. When we talk about the Masamune Shiro style, I really dug what it was doing. But this cat is not in the same style. Right? I can clearly see that this, if you look very closely at the design here, we've got Masamune Shiro's very smooth take on everything, right? All of it's very smooth, and all of that's that way. And the cat is rendered in more of a flat brush stroke sort of thing. So they took a gray brush and like something like this big soft brush and just put something like that in there to make that work. So there are tells. This doesn't look the same as this. The AI tried to make it match style, but it didn't. Yeah, that's exactly what the AI is doing. It's taking distinct styles and just rolling it. Now, that's not a character that Shiro has ever made that I'm aware of. So it did input the values of into a style run. But it is clear, and like, this background is not something Shiro ever did. Back here, it's adding that in. And there's a hard line here between this element and the background that it took. So, exactly. It would be dumb as a post. It wouldn't know what to do. The picture is phenomenal. And I will use it as a prompt to remind or to get me an idea of this. But another thing is this cat has frickin' 4 forearms or 3 forearms. He's got 1, 2, 3. He's got three forearms. So I'm getting off track, says Brent. I need to finish my Airship 27. I do. I'm having a problem finding what I'm looking for in Airship 27's illustration. I'm not saving that. I don't need to save. Let's save this because I did change this. And then let's clear it. We need to get the line thing here is what I'm looking for, is that line piece. I know I have it. I just don't know how I'm supposed to. I can't remember how to activate it. This, maybe? This. Go for it. A five-legged kitty has extra fuzzy things going for it. I mean, like I said, it's not like it's horrible. It really isn't. It's really nice. Let's do this and see what we get. Stop doing that. Let's close all my tools. Because this, I think, is what I'm really after. Because if I do this, then perhaps if I take this and go overlay, and that's a good question. What do you think Shiro thinks of this? Is this in... Oh, it is. So it's in vector. Vector control points are useful. Except that it's not in vector. It's pretending it's in vector? There. Why would you do that? I've got you set to white. White. Why would you fill it with black? Sometimes I just don't understand. You know what? We'll do this a different direction. I don't know what Shiro would think about this, though. I mean, legitimately, I don't know what Shiro would think. Because you're right. He is an early adapter of tech. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. Because this is going to take freaking forever for me to get this right. So let's do this, take this, and then do this. And then we can do this, and then this. And then I don't know why this is so hard. This shouldn't be this hard. And do this. There. That's all I wanted you to do. That's so much to ask. Apparently so. All right. Now I can put you under here. Yes. And now we're here. I mean, true. He's probably made enough money. He doesn't care anymore. All right. For reasons, this took way too long to get to this stage. I don't know why. It should not have taken this long. But it did. Now, the only thing we need to do is, now that we've got this guy coming out just like it's supposed to, we'll do this and let's line it up a little bit better. There we go. So he's pulled out his little magical amulet. He's about to use the magical amulet on her. She's not paying attention to said magical amulet. And now what I'm going to do is put one more layer in. And this is going to be my highlight layer that's responding off of the amulet. Okay. So these are the areas that I want to make sure that are responding off of this amulet, which is right here. Right? Because this is definitely going to respond. It's right on top of where the amulet is. And right here, like so, and even just a little bit on his coat, like this, right? Except not that far up. And then I'll just come back in and I'll cut back. See, cut back like so. Cut back there. I'll take a little bit coming back in here. I'm going to take my soft brush on this one and just give a soft tail to it. And this just gives a little bit of an edge that works. And then this just makes it so that it's not quite as hard a line. And I will not put as much softening back here, but I will back here. And the reason is because this is directly on it. The closer it is to a light source, the more direct that cut line is going to be on the shadow. The farther away, the more we get diffraction. The light starts to fade. So these guys are going to be furrier on its line around the corner, whereas this is going to be harder because it's right on top of that line. The other thing that's going to happen is we're going to get a little bit of light off of his face, right up here, which for some reason is not working because I think his face is a different layer at this point, which is fine. So I'll put this guy up here, right? Because it's probably a better idea anyway. And then that way I can hit the front of his face like so. And just do that. And then now his face is completely gone. But that's okay. We can do this. Maybe here. There. Nope, that still didn't work. That's all right. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking something, guys. I'm sure it was important. Now I'm not 100% sure. All right. This illustration is almost complete. The one thing we need to do now is add chaos. Because you know me, this is my chaos layer. And we're going to add 2 layers of chaos, generally speaking. It's typically what I do. I happen to like chaos a lot. So I've got in here a bunch of things that I use for chaos. I can use these guys, which give me some cloud effect chaos, which is good. I also use things in here that are more like dots and dashes. These dots are good for chaos as well. but you want them in a larger brush, something more like that, which does nothing at that size. So there's that. You get these kind of things which are chaotic and kind of add just a little bit of just so we're adding a couple of things. One, I'm adding a little bit of vignetting. Okay, so this is going to cause a little bit of a vignette effect. Two, it adds chaos. I love adding a little bit of chaos. It gives energy to the picture and adds something moving. There's action, energy, stuff like that. But the biggest thing that I use this for is to do sort of a pseudo vignetting. Vignetting is what we used to get with old photographs, because when the plate was exposed to light, you'd get light would strike the center because of the way the lens was shaped. You know how lenses work, the light comes in and crosses. When it crosses, you'd get, because of the thickness of the glass, you'd get less light around the outer edges. So our photographs would come out darker around the outside edge and brighter in the dead center. As a photographer, you had to adjust for that. And so that was a difficult thing. Modern cameras don't do that. The lenses are much different. We've got kind of a different way that we cut our lenses now, so we don't get vignetting. But I like vignetting in a way because it gives focus. It pulls the focus of the eye to the center of this picture, which is what we're really after. So I want to put in some vignetting. So what I tend to do is I go on ahead and I just kind of put in some of these things that just kind of exist around the outside. And I'm not putting them in heavily, just a little bit, just to give a little bit of a feel that something's going on out here, right? That helps a whole lot. I'll look around and see what other kind of cool things. You look like my kind of stuff right here, right? Except those are all roses. As cute as they are, it's probably not a thing. Now, we did have over here hatching, right? Because he's got the ability to put in hatching, like so. I've got the ability to do that. That looks cool. I'm not going to do that directly, but I have the ability to put in hatching. Here's some rougher hatching. This gauze is a thing. Tone scraping. Tone scraping is actually what they do in manga to make things happen around the edges. And I'm going to tone scrape through here as well. Tone scraping, and what they're saying when they say tone scraping is they're taking the zipatones. You've seen me use those zipatones where it's a bunch of dots. They'll go in with the zipatones and they will scrape out some of the dots. And usually at random, and the further from, or the closer to a light source they go, the more they'll scrape the tone. We'll do the same thing here, but I'm actually just kind of adding using the tone scraping to give myself more of a just damage to the actual picture here, right? We're just kind of damaging the picture a little. Don't worry about how bright it is. We're gonna fix it here. Come on, stop. So later we can bring this down, and what we do is we get a grain. So we get this grain kind of going on here. It's kind of hard to see. I'll bring this in so you can see the grain a lot more. We get a grain out of it. And that's what happens whenever I bring it in. I'll bring it in, I can either screen, at which time we get the grain even on the white, or we do an overlay where we only get the grain but not the black area. If we go with multiply, then all we're going to get is the parts where the grain went a different direction, like the dark areas here. You can see here where we've got the dark grain. So in this instance, I'm going to go back with overlay, because I like the idea of the grain being in the gray, but not in the black lines. I like my black lines to be sharp. So And add ourselves another layer. Cross hatching for tone scraping. Oh, so you can put the hatching in and then go back in and scrape. Oh, that's cool. Look at that. It's fascinating. Then if you do this, you say multiply. You say, hey, screen. And what you get is broken cross hatching. Oh, that's cool. Leave it to Clip Studio to give me the tools to make this look even more manga-like. I guess that makes some sense. All right. I did like this cross hatching. This hatching is cool. Right, this hatching right there. What I can do with the hatching is so good right here. Right, it's great. And having just a tool for this is excellent. There we go. Like so. I can also do things like a brightness. And if I do brightness, it still kind of gets a lot of the maybe saturation. Nah, that won't help me at all. Color won't help. It's black and white. Let me help you. Soft light probably is the one that we'd want to go for if we were to do this. This still doesn't feel like the bokeh that I'm looking for. So bokeh is the term for the sort of the spheres and globes that show up when you have a lot of light sources coming into a lens, and you hit the lens correctly in just the right way, that when they're coming in from, say, around the edges and the outside of the photograph, it leaves circular impressions in the reception area of the lens. So you get these circles. If you can think of bokeh, the best example of bokeh is a night scene where you're filming traffic, and the traffic is coming at you, and you get these extra circles that are moving. So the car goes like this, and these extra circles go the other direction. That's the bokeh. And I like to put that in as part of sort of the damage of these pictures. As much as I'm loving this cross hatching, it's really not appropriate for this particular piece, so I'm going to delete it. So I actually have a brush for that, which does bokeh. I just have to remember where the heck I hid it, because I always hide it from myself, because then I'm like, oh, this is very useful, and then I don't remember where I put it. So it's, kind of a thing. It's a thing I do to myself every time. And I know I have it somewhere. The problem is the brush doesn't look right over here, so I'm trying to read the Chinese, because the example of it doesn't look exactly like I want it to. But there's one where he's got real, it looks, it's just perfect for this job. And I'm kind of scrolling through over here looking for it. Is it you? You have to kind of turn it up. No, it's not you. Well, maybe I did move it over. I keep thinking I'll move it over, and then I don't. That's a dot line and straight up. This maybe is it. That's no, that's not it. This maybe? Those are leaves. Why did I move the leaves over? That's my book. There it is. Maybe this guy. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. See how it looks like water damage to some degree? That's what I'm after. So I'm going to go on ahead and just kind of splatter a little bit around the edges here. This gives a little bit of water damage to it. I'll tone it down because we don't want it to be that dramatic. Right? There we go. But this gives it interest. Right? We can kind of get in here and damage up this side too while we're at it. And the corner over here. Kind of do that. And get into this corner as well. And it's just giving it a little bit of character. That's what we're after here. It's just a little bit of character. So it looks like the picture has been slightly damaged. From there, it's harder to see. If we get a little closer here, you can kind of see what I'm doing, right? Now I've got what looks like the picture's been slightly damaged. A little bit of vignetting going on here. But up here, it's really nice and textured. It's a rich, interesting part of the picture. It's very, very rich. There's a lot of data going on. It gives a nice feel, which works perfectly for, say, our cave effect, which is what we're after here. It's just kind of a little bit of damage sort of thing. And this is, I go to one more layer here. This has got also that kind of effect. See how it's roughing it up? But moreover, it's coming in white and going back in gray. So one way is white, the other way is gray. So we can really get in here and just work that. Here we go. Come back and forth through here and then just kind of clean it up. Like I said, this is not the way the final version of it looks. So the more interesting part is on this brush. Go ahead and put this in soft light. You put soft light in, you get a lot of this kind of damage, but it's not wiping out it's not destroying the image in its own way. Urrete. There. And this guy's probably my bokeh. I need my bokeh. That's too small. Yeah, that's just clouds. And that's what it says, clouds. Why don't I listen to myself? Here we are. Look at that. That is what I mean by bokeh. It's you just get these kind of circles, right? Now what I can do with this brush, because we're not going to get it from here, is go into the brush function, make the brush big, the directions of the particles don't change, right? Let me see, brush shape, brush tip, spraying effect, particle size. We want the particle size to be big, but we want the density to be down. The density is about, there we go. We're bringing out the deviation on it. I'm going to make the particle size a little bit smaller, because that way when I make it a much bigger brush, right now it's a 700. Right, so now we get kind of this effect. And so now I can bring it up to like 2000 and just get these, right? And this is more like what I'm looking for when I talk about kind of the bokeh, because now we can then take and overlay that and drop it down, right? And this is giving me a lot more of these spheres and bubble things going on, which gives sort of the effect of that light doing effects off of things. We can't have that in the center because of the way that we want to have the vignetting going. So I'm going to just use a soft eraser and pull this out sort of in the center section here so that it's only in the vignetting that you see it. that bokeh. I'm going to gently touch through here and just kind of tap through it like so. And what we're doing now is just making sure that it's not oppressive. You want people to feel the feel of that, like there's something going on with the lens work where you get the circles that are coming around the edges. You don't want it to be oppressive. You really want it to be just gentle and just give you the feel that something's happening. And now I'm feeling like this piece is pretty close to done. Looking at the piece now, I'm pretty happy with it. We'll hit a save real quick. A couple of things I want to fix once we've flattened it down. Her eyes aren't leveled up, and I want to fix that because that bothers me. One eye is bigger than the other. I feel like she's kind of doing this number, and I'm like, well, okay, but she's mad. She's angry. She's not that angry, right? So we're going to go into this layer, which is where the line work is. We're going to just tap in on this. Like so. Take this and just kind of go through here and just bring it down. So if I can, we'll match this as much as possible. Now, this eye is not touching here, and it really needs to. So I'm going to go on ahead and just go in here and just do this. Crazy. When we're crazy, when we're insane, we open our eyes wider than our pupils and irises, and we will move our eyes bigger than that. Anime and manga takes that to sort of an extreme. In the anime and manga world, we take that and move one more layer in. Those are all chaos layers. Why am I getting gray deflection? So when an anime character gets surprised or stunned, their eyes get big, and their pupils, their irises get small. It's literally what we do. That's the one. We just need to go in here and fix this. So what I'm doing with her is making her eyes big, and her pupils need to be smaller. I'm also going to line these guys up because that's really strange. She's not looking at him. She's looking, one eye is looking this way and the other eye is looking that way. So let's line those eyes up. That way she's at least looking at the right spot. I'm also going to go on ahead and just go in here and just fix some of these things. Just a little bit of fix won't hurt us at all. Line that up. And no matter what, her mouth is open. So she's yelling at him, she's screaming at him, and calling him bad names. So we're going to go in ahead and do that. I do not like the fact that this is low res. No matter what, this was bigger than this whenever I brought it in. That's okay. On the top layer here, we have this 6 layer, which is on top, and this is all going to be on top. So I'm going to take this layer, and with this, I'm going to put in a shine on this side of her eyes to indicate that her eyes are reflecting the object. So the eyes are reflecting the object even if she's not looking at it. So it's totally off to one side. She's not paying attention to it, which is one of the traits of this particular character in the book. So that's what's going on. And there we go. And now I'm feeling like this piece is ready to roll. So we're going ahead and put my chop in on it. Get out of the AI art folder or we're going to regret our life choices. We need the administration folder. I'm asleep. I'm having problems. For those of you who do not know, I actually have a stamp in both blue and red, which does my signature now. And I love this stamp. It's a great stamp. It is literally based off of my Hanko, which was my signature in Japan. And for this one, what I do is I reverse gradient it. And then we go through and we say level correction. Like so. And we say, nope. This is the one we want actually to be screen because that way it looks like that. And we take it and we say tall correction, use saturation. Take the saturation out. There we go. And that just puts a nice little chalk right there. On this piece. You folks probably have noticed that my dates are generally in Japanese dates, and that's because I started dating my artwork in Japan. You should never date your own artwork, man. It's like dating your cousin. Okay, that was a funnier joke in my head. And when I said it, now I'm kind of like, that's not what I wanted. And see, the thing about live broadcasting is there's nothing I can do. I can't go back and edit that out. So you're just stuck with it. All right. We're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to say save as, and we're going to save it as a JPEG so that it's flattened down. And that's over that. Yep, I'm good with that. So we'll go down with that. Like so. And then Ron has a hard time sometimes getting these large format pieces. So I make a smaller version for him. And by doing it, so to do that, I need to export a single layer as a JPEG. And then I go in ahead and I say this, and I say SM to indicate small. And then I save it. And then all I really want to do is just specify my output size. Right, and that's all good. And then I go towards that. All right. And illustration number illustration number whatever is out. So we'll go over here. And we'll make a new email. And we'll say Ron. And I'll send it to Rob as well. Silver Pentacle to Neo. Here's illustration. Oh my gosh. Illustration 5 for Silver Pentacle 2. Now I add it. The thing that really kind of bothers me the most, though, about frickin' Outlook is it always offers me anything that's a Word or as a Microsoft product first. So that Word document that I worked on 6 weeks ago is number 1. And then the other Word documents. And then way down here is the image that I literally just finished a second ago. Which, you know, is only really a problem if you are an artist and not a writer. And it's like, really? Oh, man. So I'll fire that one off. That's off to the races. Okay. All right, guys. We've cleared illustration number 5 of 8. So of 9. There are 9 illustrations on the master, as I recall. So let's double check where we are. What's our position in Silver Pentacle? I keep this sketchboard to tell me what's going on, right? Okay, so here we are. I'll select this and go here. And I'm going to call this one done. And this lets me know that these guys are done. We are, I would say, not quite halfway there. And the reason that I say that is because what you don't see in that bottom right-hand corner is the cover. The cover is going to have to be in full color. We're going to have to do all of that. And it might just be the time for a George break. Hi. It's always the time for a George break as far as George is concerned. George always believes that it's George break time. This is a constant belief, isn't it? You're just a fluff. Come here. You snuggly fluff. Put your butt down now. There we go. Makes it all a whole lot easier if you do that. Yeah. He just sits here and purrs. Just sit here and purr. He's like, less talking, more scritching. This is the priority of the cat. Less talking, more scritching. Cats have scent glands right here, and right here, and right here. And the way that they put their scent on things is to scritch or rub up against things, which is why they like to be scritched. It activates the little scent glands. Not necessarily because he wants to mark everything, but because that's just the nature of the beast. You, right? George would be like, hey, this looks like fun. Wait a minute. And you know he would too. He'd be like, well, you'd like that. The theory you'd have would be, I want to go outside. And then the door would open and it'd be wet. And just like Christopher, he'd be like, this isn't as good an idea as I thought. All right. You're a good cat. You're a goofus, but you're a good goofus. No matter what, you're still a good cat. Yep. Make sure everybody sees your butt. That's important. Can't be construed as a real cat unless everybody sees your butt. It's a genuine cat thing. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're up to -7 degrees Celsius outside. Look at us. It's a heat wave. Some user will appreciate that. Although, I feel like you're in a norther position than we are. I mean, Denver's pretty north. The biggest thing that we have with Denver is that we have altitude. So, being 1,600 meters high is a big deal. I mean, Colorado itself, where I am in Colorado is already, I think it's like 1,700 meters. So, still 1.7 kilometers up. Denver itself is 1,600 or 1.6 kilometers above sea level. So what we have here is altitude, which makes -7 and -8 Celsius actually not so bad because we don't have any humidity. We have almost no humidity at all. So it's tolerable at -7. George is like, no, the scritching is not done. We are not done with scritches. Scritches have not ended. So the next scene involves all of the characters doing their things. All right. Now, can I get back to work? Be sure to show everybody your butt. All right. Welcome back. You really only missed the George break. So, Christopher and Dan, you haven't been on the show until now, and so you should know that really George is the co-star because people don't actually watch shows for people; they watch shows for cats. So George is legitimately the co-star, so that people will watch for cats. Baby found. I don't even want to know what's going on. All right. So we will save this. I have to admit, all of the new stuff in Windows 11 makes for a markedly more interesting. Right? You are the star. Yes, you are the star. You are definitely a star. You are in charge. George is in charge. So Windows 11 has these features that kind of bother me. Not the least of which is the automatic showing you of news. Because for those of us that stream, kind of means that we violate copyright by accident now, which I don't know if that was their intention, but that's what's happened. All right. Now we're down to this panel here, and I'm not sure I know what I want to do with that panel. Kind of curious, since we were just talking about this, what would the AI do? You know, like, would it give me a different thought, a different concept? So if I were to take the Midjourney bot and go over to Midjourney and maybe join one of the channels that doesn't have a zillion people in it, yeah, good luck. I'm allergic to winter. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, that one. Kind of cool. Oh, man. All right. Let's see here. Imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in a standoff. Steampunk, because this is Victorian dress. Let's see what this prompt does. I'm curious what it's going to think. Wide angle. One, 2, 3. Let's see what that does. Nothing if I don't do it right. Why didn't it fire off the prompt? There we go. Huh. It didn't fire off the prompt both times now. I know why. I didn't start it with the correct words. Imagine portrait wide angle. There we go. I am not getting control of the bot. In fact, the bot is not letting me do anything for reasons. Weird. All right, I got it. The bot fired off. It's just being weird. I'm allergic to work. Got you. Maybe I'm allergic to work. maybe that's it. I'm doing work, so plausibly, this is certainly me having issues. Let's see what we got. I feel like you're not getting what I'm after here. Although it did give me fascinating concepts, it did not answer my question. Because what it gave me was this. So let's talk about this, because this is what it gave me. That's not a standoff. It did, however, give me. I like the fact that I said specifically 6 people, and it gave me 5. Although it is interesting. I mean, its concept of steampunk is kind of cool. Let's try a different imagine. Imagine. There we go. We need to make sure we have the prompt box. Standoff. No, let's do, what do we want to call this? Comic panel. Standoff. 6 people. Gun aimed. 3 men. 3 women. I'm just trying to see what it comes up with for a pose, because my pose I don't feel like is dynamic. I don't like the way it's let up. Victorian dress. Steampunk. Sci-fi. --V4. Fire that off. Let's see what we come up with there. Letting the bot go for it. Scratching the cat's butt. Right. Got about 4 minutes left. We'll get kind of a rough idea. Better. I see what it's trying to do here. It's not bad. At least this is giving me more concepts here. Right? Like, this is giving me a little bit more of an idea of what's going on. I like this. Yeah, go make some food, my friend. Go make some food. I like the ideas of this one a little bit better. Ah. At least this is giving me more concepts. I need more people in it though. But I like these. These are better. I'll pull up the original and save it. I feel like we're not done rendering. Yeah, you're not done rendering, that's why. Oh, Victorian cats. Oh, God. Those are disgustingly cute. God. Okay, I will save those in my random AI that somebody created folder, but yeah, that's disgustingly cute. I'll do this and I'll save it and then I'll redice it. Save image as So this is what I really think is useful for AI. I'm gonna reshuffle it and let it go again and see. Sherlock Kitty is amazing, right? I'm gonna reshuffle. Damn, it's kind of cool. I'm gonna reshuffle it down here and see what new things it comes up with, because I didn't really particularly feel like that was a good. I got a lot of people on this thread. Where's me? Here we go. Now, this panel here is interesting. And maybe exactly what I'm looking for to some degree. This upper panel, we've got a standoff between these characters, right? So she has a gun and he's saying, whoa, 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 right? And he is kind of flanking her. If we start with the principle of this panel, where she's looking over her shoulder, he's maybe putting the main character here, saying whoa, 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 and stopping back, and she's looking over, and right over the shoulder we've got another character. That might be what I'm looking for. Maybe. So I'll save these ideas as a throw-in. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I should take out Victorian era. I wish there was a way for me to redo this without it being... So I'm going a little over. Come on, prompt. And I'll take out Victorian dress this time and instead say steampunk sci-fi and see what I get. I wonder if I will get a different, because the Victorian dress is causing it to add literal dresses to it. A Japanese cat as a chef making Japanese food, ramen, vector style. Oh my god. That's actually frickin' adorable. I don't know what's flying in the background, but it's frickin' adorable. Let's see where we are here. Better alignment. Better alignment. It's still a bunch of men and one woman. Like, we have no way of putting in 3 women in these panels. We're so sorry. It just does not happen. There are not enough women in the world, apparently. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to add wide angle into it. Because there wasn't a wide angle before. I'm going to actually take out steampunk just because I think there's only a certain number of apparently women in panels in there. I thought about that, but then it's not all women. It's 3 women and 3 men, and it's having a real problem with that. I don't know what that thing is that it's making, but that's kind of creepy. So there's that. let it go and let's see what we get. There we go. A little bit better. We're getting a little bit more interesting views. There we go. Better. That's much more reasonable as far as panel setup. Yeah, that's good. This is at least a little bit more readable. It gives me some. No, this is not so bad. Emphasize. Oh, you can emphasize words with open bracket. Huh. Yeah. That's fascinating, actually. I am liking sort of some of these layouts. These are better. And give it one more spin. And then we'll let that one go. And then I'll call it for the day because I'm actually hungry and would like lunch. We're coming up on lunchtime. We're coming up on lunchtime for everybody else in here except for some user. We're coming up on dinner time or passing dinner time. I appreciate you being here. We've messed up the face. So terrifying. Oh. Oh, it's better. Interesting. Some of these are good layouts too. Okay. I'll save those layouts and then we'll go through them tomorrow morning or tonight. Knackenbrod. I'll never say it right. Sounds tasty. So, and there's always that. All right, guys. Well, we've had a little bit of a trip down Mid-Journey Lane. Kind of giving me some concepts of what to do, and that was kind of useful, and that's kind of cool, and I dig it. Also, we've had a couple of visits by my co-star George, who has wandered off somewhere. Usually he lays in that chair back there, but I see that my child has decided to put the mouse and keyboard in that chair, which does not, in fact, help the cat find a spot to lay down. So there's that. Okay, everybody, I'll be back on again tonight at 9 p.m. 10 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'll be on till midnight. We'll probably continue on with this standoff that I was working on over here and see what happens. So we'll get to that point. At some point in time, we will return back to Belectrix Rising, and we will get back into that thing. But I did want to try to get this done for Ron. I don't know if you guys have been here for this entire time, but the Silver Pentacle is written by Nancy Hansen. I'm illustrating it for Airship 27 and Ron Fortier. They put these books out at conventions and things like that. They're pulp fiction, which is wonderful and a lot of fun to do. Pulp fiction is now becoming its own sort of genre. Not even the cats are safe from the machines. So pulp fiction's kind of become its own genre. This sort of 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s era writing with some illustrations in it to kind of, and of course everything's kind of larger than life sort of thing. The Indiana Jones-esque sort of stories. So in various Tarzan and Indiana Jones and Flash Gordon and those kind of things. So from those sort of movie serials of that era. And it's a wonderful, wonderful genre, and I love working in it. It's not my normal genre, but that's okay. I like it. It challenges me really nicely, and I always love to stretch whenever I can. So Ron put me on these, and I did Silver Pentacle 1, which was released last year, and now I'm on Silver Pentacle 2, and the author has already finished Silver Pentacle 3. So I'm a book behind, and she wants me to illustrate all three of them so that they can all be uniform and together and have the same art style and everything like that. So it's really cool, and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. So before I get back to Bellatrix Rising, I'm going to work on Silver Pentacle and just make sure that we've got this done and stuff like that. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for joining me, Christopher. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining me, some user, because I know that it's nighttime where you are and stuff like that, and probably colder than it is here. You're norther, so I would assume it's colder than it is here. Thank you for joining me, Dan. I saw you for a little while. That's awesome. And of course, thank you for joining me, Brent, and I'll see you tonight, because I know you'll be here to crack the whip on me to make sure that I continue moving forward. And thank you for joining me mid-journey, because that was weird, but hey, kind of cool. So I'll see you all tonight. It's always fun talking to you as well. It has been too long, Christopher, but you can always join me every day if you're working or whatever and you just want to hang out and have me up on the screen. I broadcast most days at this time, most weekdays at this time, and then I broadcast again at night. So you can always join me. I'm just going to keep working, and I'll keep you company. You can keep me company, and we can get the work done. So, okay, cool. Well, then I will see you all later. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye.